Hi, today I'm in Toronto, Canada. I'm down at the Toronto Hydroplane and Sailing Club to meet a man called Richard Taylor, who is on his boat Skookumchuck, and he's 87. He's been sailing for 61 years. So please join me for this conversation with Richard Taylor. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm not going to recap from last time.
Okay.
But we can just say a little bit about how you started sailing, when and how long you've been sailing. Please tell us about that.
Okay. After I started or finished my experiences in car rallying for about 3 years, I heard from my working chap I was working with. He regaled me with his catamaran sailing experiences up in Lake Simcoe. So I thought that was great and started looking into ads for sailboats, in particular catamarans, and found one for a 16-foot catamaran, plywood, pressed plywood, built in England. And one thing led to another, took a little sail with the dealer on it and bought it. It's called a Flying Kitten, a 16-foot boat. I bought it in the fall of 1964. I rented a garage and put it in over the winter and didn't know where I was going to sail it.
Was it the water, the sailing, or the speed that attracted you?
The water, having something new. I've always been interested in boats. And so that was a good fit. And I lived in the beach area here. So when I was younger, with my friends, we spent a lot of time down at the beach year round. So water was normal. Big lake was normal.
This is a CNC 24. How long have you had the boat?
I've had this boat for 49 years. I had actually 3 catamarans. The Flying Kitten was my first. I didn't know where I was going to sail it, but in the spring of 1965, a person who had another one and lived in the beach too, right across from the park at the beach, had found out that some catamaran sailors had approached the Toronto Hydroplane Club on Ashbridges Bay and asked them if they could use the property to store their boats so they don't have to de-rig them and that every day they wanted to go sailing. A deal was made, and we asked, my friend Tom was the same, we asked and we were admitted to. I have been here at the Toronto Hydroplane Club now for 61 years.
You're in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I am. There's a plaque of my CNC 24 up on the wall in the lounge, and a plaque next to it. So anyway, the third boat was a B-class catamaran, 20 feet long, 10 feet wide, and they were home built, but one of the sailors had built one, and I liked it so much I asked him to build me one. But there I was I sold my 16-foot boat to a person in Calgary, and I didn't have anything to sail. But one of the Quick-At original members, sailing members, sailing a beeline, and he didn't sail his boat, his single-handed boat anymore. So I bought it and sailed that during the summer around several places. I had a good time on a single-handed catamaran. But the next summer, my beeline was ready, and I sailed that for almost 10 years.
Your focus has always been on racing, and you've been very successful with that. Have you done other types of sailing, like cruising or in the Caribbean?
When our oldest son was born in '73, we were still racing the Lion. My wife was crewing sometimes in the races, and We had friends who we traveled with for races away from the club here, Hamilton in particular, every New Year's Day or New Year's weekend. Labor Day weekend would sponsor a catamaran regatta, and they had boats from the States, all over Ontario and Quebec, come down for that race in Hamilton Harbor on Labor Day weekend, and we'd make a weekend of it. But when my second son, as it turned out, was on the way in 1976, fall of 76, we knew my wife was pregnant, so we decided, what shall we do? Catamaran isn't any good for toddlers and young kids, so we decided cottage or bigger boat, keelboat, and we decided, of course, on the keelboat. We looked around, and our budget said we were CS-27s and class were too expensive for us, but CNC-24 was within our budget. So we looked around, checked them out in Toronto, checked them out in, as it turned out, in Niagara-on-the-Lake, where they were built by CNC at Gillingham's Yacht Basin at the time. Got along fine with Gillingham, and we bought it over there. We chose the hull. They had two models, a kind of a bare bones and called a Niagara. And the Niagara had more teak and that sort of thing, as you see here, and we chose that. So over the winter, I guess, sometime, either in the spring or whatever, they prepared the boat. We launched it, rigged it, absolutely perfect shape. I painted the bottom with vanity fouling over a couple of weekends, and in early May, 3 friends of ours from the club and I brought it across the lake on its first sail. And it's been here ever since. Cruising, we've been west as far as Port Credit and east as far as Bluffers. And that's it. It's not a cruising boat. For small kids, it was all right.
How has sailing changed in 61 years?
Bigger boats. Everybody either wants to buy a bigger boat or they start off with a bigger boat. But that's one of the reasons is that the older, bigger boats are cheaper than they were when they were new in many ways. And they're available, you know, if we could have got for the same price a 27 footer or something like that, we probably would have, but not at that time.
But you haven't succumbed to 3 feet ISIS?
No, we haven't done that. Could have, but we didn't, because after a while, after the kids were growing up, we cruised with the club over to the island and that sort of thing all around. But then the kids grew up, started doing their own things. My wife, she decided that gardening was her thing. We had bought a house when we were married, and that's another thing we've kept. We've had that for 53 years. 53, yeah, I guess it is. 53 years. We didn't buy, multiple houses along the line. We bought what we wanted right off the bat. But anyway, yes.
So this is like your man cave.
Pardon?
This is like your man cave. Your wife has her gardening and you come down to your...
I've been lucky to have enough friends, either I worked with or at the club, to crew in the races with me. My sons both have raced with me, and while I was on an afternoon shift for quite a few years, my youngest son at the time, he was in his 20s, and he had some friends who liked to go sailing, so he raced the boat, and he still goes sailing with me. I guess the last time was a few years ago. Both my sons went with me on a race regatta called East End Challenge, and we happened to win it. So that was nice, having both my sons racing with me.
How have you and how have you responded to the challenges of sailing as one gets older?
Actually, I just move ahead. I bowl through. I know what I like to do. So I do it. 5 years ago, arthritis started setting in. It slowed me down a little. I had a small, I guess heart attacks aren't small, but I had a let's say a minor heart attack, and haven't had any problems since. I had a stent put in, but that didn't slow me down. And my wife, she has her garden for 9 months of the year, preparing, maintaining, and preparing for winter. It keeps her busy, and it's quite extensive, quite good too. I'm able to do racing in that. I don't hang out at the club a lot, but I do come down for racing and for maintaining the boat.
So this year the boat is now up for sale.
It is.
That's going to be a big change.
If it sells, yes, it will. If it doesn't sell this year, my friends Laurie and Greg have agreed that we'll continue racing. After COVID, my crew, a friend I used to work with, who retired and decided after a sample sail and race, decided to race with me, and he was with me for 10 years. But he developed ALS and couldn't sail anymore. And Laurie and Greg approached me. Greg bought a bigger boat. It didn't race the way he wanted. He had a smaller boat that raced better. And so he was a little disappointed that he wasn't racing. So and Laurie used to crew for him. So Laurie and Greg approached me and said, "Do you want us to, we'll crew for you if you want." It took me a quarter of a second to agree with it.
For people coming into the sport, particularly young people, what advice would you give them? If they're thinking about it but have never been out on a boat.
I would say to go for it. Go out on a boat, because most sailors who have a big enough boat will gladly take anybody interested, get an arrangement for either take them out on a race or a special sail or whatever. Now, smaller boats, dinghies, that's a different situation, because a lot of dinghies are almost single-handed, and even double-handed ones are, you kind of got a little bit of knowledge. But in the light winds, it doesn't matter. But go for it. Go test it, sample it, and you might find you like it.
That's the big danger. Then you'll need a boat.
Yeah, right. You're hooked for the rest of your life. Although, I've met people who were they bought a boat, they sailed a lot, they sold the boat, they went on to do something else.
Have you ever been tempted like that, or you've been very happy with this?
No, I did my other things earlier. Like I said, car rallying for about 3 years. Intensive car rallying. I think I wore out 3 cars.
Wow.
Well, I didn't keep them very long, put it that way.
You'll be celebrating your 87th birthday this year.
I have already celebrated.
Oh, you have already celebrated?
In April,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What are the advantages of being 87, if any?
Not much. Your body tells you you're 87. If you've got the proper kind of friends, they do look upon you and and when you need it, they will help you anytime. That is good. I mean, I've been an individualist. I like doing things myself. If I need 4 hands, yes, I'll ask somebody. But generally, even if I need 4 hands, I'll still try it with 2. And I'm just that kind of person that I'd like to do it myself. I like to try it myself. It doesn't always work, but that's what I like to do.
So somebody who is in their 60s or in their 70s, how would you recommend or suggest to them that they maintain the sort of level of energy that you maintain?
Do something you really like that is your exercise, to push your body a little bit. Not a lot. You don't need to run marathons or anything like that. But if it's your thing, that's fine. But you don't have to. I mean, messing around with boats, you get both ends. It's a beautiful day like this, you just sit around in the sun, or you can go out on a windy day and hang on for dear life, and have a lot of excitement going 10 miles an hour.
So that's the physical side. How about keeping mentally alert? Is there a trick to that?
I don't know. For myself, I've always read a lot. Novels, science fiction mostly. So, I'm ready. I'm always ready for something new. And I like new. Even when I worked, I was in the typesetting industry.
That was your civilian work.
Yeah, my civilian work. Yeah, I started in everything was hot metal, and as it moved on to what they called cold type on film and photographic paper, put myself out there to learn it and be part of it all the way through. And that kept me young because I was always learning something new. And the companies I worked for, fortunately, they were progressive too.
You've done all the maintenance yourself on the boat. What mistakes have you made? Either in running the boat or sailing the boat? Can you remember any stories? Can you tell me a story about that?
Getting caught out in a squall is a mistake. Sometimes it's an unavoidable mistake. I think I've been caught out in about 3. We were racing on the early part of the race, and we saw a storm, as they do we've noticed over the years. Sometimes a thunderstorm will go along up in the city, but not come down to the water. So we watched it carefully, and it did that. It went off to the east. But then, corner of it spread out across the lake, the shoreline, right down to the center of Toronto as a squall. And it surprised us. So when we finally noticed that something was going to happen, we abandoned the race, but we didn't get in far enough. So we had the jib down, which was fine, but the squall hit us. Torrential rain, you could barely see the front of the boat. The mainsail up, and the motor going, but I didn't get the boat pointed into the wind. So I had to run with the wind. So there's the sail out, wind behind it, heading for the Leslie Street Spit. I knew I had lots of room though, but there were other boats around, couldn't see them. It didn't bother me. I knew what I was doing, I knew what my plan was, and I did it. It didn't last a long time, 10 minutes maybe, we're the worst of it. And then it cleared, and we came back and came in to dock the boat. And another one, just a couple of years ago, we had just started a race going west, and we saw the storm kind of coming, but we saw some other bigger boats were ahead of us, and we saw them go boom. We saw a sail start, being in two pieces. And so we quickly rolled up the jib, and it was Laurie and Greg. They knew what we were doing. We dropped the mainsail. So I was motoring in, and I got to the outer harbor entrance, just inside, and then I thought a storm just about upon us. And I said, "Oh, stupid! Don't be caught in the harbor. We won't get to the dock." So I whipped around full speed out into the lake. We got some sea room, and we weathered. I got dead, pointed into it, and we weathered that one very nicely too. It was exciting times, but if you thought about it ahead and maybe read a few adventures of other people have done, you get through it.
Do you like that kind of adventure, or does it just stress you out?
No, I won't say it stresses me. It's something that if you know what you're doing, I don't find there's too much stress. I do what I think should be done, and if it turns out, and it has, I guess, it's still in one piece, then there's not much stress at all during this you're holding on, and you know what happens if it's if you get off, because you're going to go like that. We had some good adventures rallying, and if your nerves are steady. Well, in one point, if I had an extra coat of paint in my car, I might have touched another car going down a hill. That sort of thing. Will we make it? It's into the ditch over here, into the car over here. There's a room, and my navigator said, "Another coat of paint, and we would have touched them."
When you were 25, when you were a young man, did you imagine how your life might be? And is that something you never think about now? Do you look back, or are you still looking forward to new adventures?
I more or less took it as it comes. When I got into rallying, I got a first car, Morris Minor convertible, brand new, $1,400, brand new. So, sports car races. There was an old World War II training airport down near Lake Erie that they turned into a sports car racing track called Harewood. So I gathered a friend of mine, and we beetled down there to check it out and see what it's all about. So we looked at it, and that looked interesting. So over the summer, we and several and other friends took in several sports car races. At one race, somebody put a flyer on my windshield that they were starting a Morris Minor Owners Club in Toronto. Would I like to join? Okay, why not? And so the first event was a rally, Sunday safari, and bull shoot. A bull, it was Morris Minor, the emblem on the steering wheel was a bull. So that's where the bull shoot comes in. And there was a party after, that was a part of it too. So anyway, it was a first rally. We had nothing. And my friend who went with me as a navigator, we knew nothing about rallying. We read the instructions, got lost, found the endpoint for the party, and I continued rallying through that club and found out that for regular rallies, and at that time there were quite a few rallies. Every weekend there seemed to be a car rally. And the British Empire, you had to belong to a recognized club to join these rallies. And so I joined the British Empire Motor Club, and so I was official and did the rallying, my Morris Minor, including the Canadian Winter Rally in February in a Morris Minor convertible. That takes guts. I admit that. but we finished. I can't remember whether that was the year we won the. No, I think it was the second year, and my Riley 1.5. That was my next car. We formed a private team, a couple of Volvos and my Riley, and we won the team on the Canadian Winter Rally.
So does that mean that surviving is the first criteria of successful life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because there was a couple of times when things got dicey, and who knows, maybe I wouldn't have survived. But yeah.
What are the secrets to a successful life, do you think? When you take your life experience and you look at your friends and other people in society, what do you think makes a successful life?
Do things you enjoy. Now, some things are very expensive, some things are not. That's up to you.
People have the impression that sailing and sailboats are very expensive.
Compared to other things, no. Compared to some things, yes. But, small sailboats are not very expensive. Bigger sailboats are more expensive to keep, to maintain, and everything else. And you really, like Dave's CNC 31 or 32, that's a big boat to keep and to maintain. And I think you know about that yourself too.
Yeah, my last boat was 36 feet. That's a lot of anti-foul. That's a lot of scraping.
I know. I mean, my 24. Well, especially now. I didn't used to, but especially now, I find it a big boat to prepare for the water.
What do you think young people most often get wrong about life?
Oh, I don't know.
You have, what, 2 sons and how many grandchildren?
3. My sons have gone different ways. My older son married and has 3 grandchildren. My younger son is more of an individualist. I'd say that, an individualist. He still lives with us. He keeps saying that he will be our caregiver, and he keeps basically a lot to himself, but he helps us. This afternoon, he'll be helping my wife prepare their orchid. They have a half a dozen orchids that they baby. Special onion water, all sorts of things like that. He likes gardening. He helps my wife with the hard stuff now. They're 2 individualists. My grandchildren are, one is, she's gay, at least right now anyway. She came out gay in her late teens. And the oldest boy, he'll be going away for the first time to a course up near Peterborough in heavy equipment. That's what has caught his eye. And the youngest one is finishing off grade 12. And I don't have no idea. We're going over there for Father's Day to their house in Whitby tomorrow, and might find out how things are going in that way. We see them, half a dozen times a year.
Coming back to sailing,
yes.
What 3 skills do you think every sailor must master? Whether it be racing, cruising, offshore, whatever.
Know what you're getting into.
But how do you know that before you've got into it?
Well, when you're new to it, you ask questions, you go with people, you sample. And if you like what you're sampling, you can start. This is assuming you have your own boat. And okay, how about an overnight race, or the one coming up, the Lake Ontario 300 in next month. Next month, I think it is. That's something different. I've never been in it, and I'm not really well, certainly not now, but I never really wanted to. It's not been it's been only going for 10 years or something like that. But the lake and that sort of thing, we have several boats that go in it, and they're always looking for crew. If you're interested in it, you'd go with them once, and okay. And if you got a boat that qualifies, it has to be a certain size, and then maybe go yourself. A sample. And this is what I did when I started sailing.
So that was one thing. Know what you're getting into. What are the other two?
Well, if you're married, make sure your wife is okay with it. That can destroy a marriage. I think you've seen it happen. Either one, and sometimes it's the woman who owns the boat and goes her way. And as come here, we've seen the husband has one boat and the wife has another boat, her own boat. Weird, but it happens. Well, my youngest son doesn't race with me anymore because we're two captains.
That's not good.
Yeah. And it's my boat, so he has opted to only come out with me when we go for a day, a leisurely day sail. And
what's the third skill that sailors should master? A sense of humor?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, so often that we're we've got your foot out here and you're looking down at the water like that, and something happens, and you don't scream about it, you laugh about it. You got to. And we do that. Laurie and Greg and I, and Ken, my previous friend who sailed with me for 10 years, we'd get into a muddle sometimes. And a few years, 3 years ago, and big waves, heavy wind, I slipped when we were tacking, and I ended up in the bottom, sitting in the bottom of the cockpit floor, hand on the tiller up here, and not seeing what was going to happen, and the boat skewing around. And when I got up to look, there was another boat bearing down on us, and we can't maneuver or something like that. Jack managed to go around us. He wasn't. He had the right of way, but we couldn't do anything about it. So things like that could get scary. But
do you think having a sense of humor is one of the key ingredients?
I think it is. I always, when something goes wrong, I try and laugh about it.
If you could write your own epitaph, what would you put?
Well, I think I mentioned to you last Saturday we have our niche entombed in, and Carol decided that she wanted a flower emblem, and I wanted a sailboat, and so I haven't thought of an epitaph, but maybe I will between now and then. I'll see something that rings a bell.
This is a personal question.
Oh, sure.
Do you feel that your life has been well lived?
Yes.
Or is being well lived, I should say.
Yes. I've either sampled or done a lot of things. Certainly not everything, of course. And I'm quite happy with what it's turned out to be. I'm very happy, as a matter of fact. I've laid in bed, waking up, or even before I go to sleep, and thinking about things like that, and I have nothing to regret. I've driven across Canada. Out west about 6 times, and out east about 2 or 3. We've visited Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, Vancouver, the Rockies, prairies, love them all. You know, I've been a few places in the States. You know, I've sampled Florida, got a little taste of Australia. That's enough. That's enough. If I had, for sure, 10 more years, maybe I would think about it. But there again, I wouldn't. I don't know whether I'd go alone, because Carol's finished traveling. She doesn't want to travel. She doesn't want to travel very far in Ontario. So I would, but I wouldn't. I don't want to do it alone. My son who lives with us, he's all for camping alone. He over the last couple of years, he bought himself a great big tent, all the paraphernalia. In fact, he just bought a space heater, kerosene space heater for his big tent.
61 years
Yes.
on a boat and sailing. What has it kept bringing you back? Is it to sailing and to boats? This boat, is it the racing, or is it the messing about in boats that you love, or being just to step off the land for a while and be on a boat that moves with the elements? What?
Yes, probably all of that. The racing, I enjoy it. It's something you have to think about and do, and you're doing it with friends. That helps. Messing around with boats, not so much now. Still like it. I just sample it, a couple of hours at a time. The long walk down the boardwalk, down the dock there, it's work now. It's work. It's not the fun component has been diminished. But for most of my life, it's been fun.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennison. It's an adventure, something different. I guess that makes the rule. I was approached. I said, "Okay, why not?" I had to give it a try, and that's how it works.
Great. So there are some great stories from a man who's lived a rich life and is still enjoying his life enormously. Richard Taylor. So until next time, I wish you fair winds and happy adventures.